Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Yes, good evening. Savva here from Football Heritage TV. Just thought we'd drop in with some old familiar faces. Not that they're all old. Not that they're... You knew what I meant. Just to have a little chat about football. Big up Roms. We've got Roms in the house. How you doing, my man? You good?
Apart from football, yeah, I'm great. But my club, for those who don't know me on the channel yet, I'm a Liverpool fan. I know I'm not in the top or anything, but my club would drive me insane. But other than that, I'm good. Thank you for having me on. Big up Dave, big up Steve. It's nice to be streaming with you.
Yeah, listen, we have also got Dave Asprey. Long time, Dave. It's been a while, but how are you, my friend? You good?
A little bit sore in the mouth after a fill-in today, Sav, but a little bit sore after Saturday because I think we could have actually nicked something at the end. But hey-ho, there were lots to be encouraged about. We didn't look like, certainly the last half an hour, we didn't look like a team that might struggle. So, yeah, I'm good, mate, and it's really good to see my man Steve again and yourself, Sav, and Roms for the first time, mate. Nice to make your acquaintance.
And it wouldn't be a panel, would it, without Strasbourg Steve, who supports 98 different football clubs, which always gives him a good opportunity to have some success in a season. How are you, Steve?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Watching some football right now, so I'm chilling, man. So,
who are you watching? Who are you watching at the moment?
VfB Lübeck versus Hoffenheim, DFB Pokal, so the German Cup, and then Cadiz are playing. Who was it?
Someone else.
Alaves. And there's also Atletico Madrid on, Man United, a few others. So, yeah, I'm chilling, man.
Let's get straight into it, shall we?
Yeah.
We've got 1 hour. Less than an hour now. Roms. I mean, listen, talk to me. I always think that Spurs are a really badly run club. And today, it looks like we found out this morning that Caicedo did sign for Chelsea. And Ornstein has broken the news in the last 30 minutes that Lavia has turned down the chance to go to Liverpool. And he is also going to go to Chelsea, which means they will spend £165 million with add-ons as well for Lavia in one day for two central midfielders. How you feeling, mate? What's going on at Liverpool?
Bear with me. Sorry, the doorbell might go a few times in the background, but I don't really know where to start. Right, we kind of showed our hand with the Caicedo bid. Now other clubs know we have money, etc. But when it comes to Lavia, we've done all the groundwork, put in 3 bids with a difference of 7 million, right? And I was saying to our friends, I don't think we rate this player. Well, us as fans might, but I don't think the club itself rates this player. Because if we did, we would maybe. I understand the low ball technique, but maybe after the second bid, then just pay the 50 million. Cool.
Yeah.
We've then thought Caicedo for some reason is attainable, and now you'll get rival fans saying the money wasn't there, but we recouped 53 million from Henderson and Fabinho through Saudi money. If you know, Saudi money is straight up. It's not really installments. It's just straight there. It's upfront cash.
Yeah.
And we also had the 45 million for Lavia. You could even say 80 million because we were willing to match the valuation of Levi Colwell as well. So the money has been there. We had at least 150 million, which people don't want to accept. Cool. We decided to think, you know what? Let's quickly find a loophole here and go in for Caicedo. Broke the British record fee, which was alien to me because you know our owners, we do not spend that type of money.
Yeah.
So we're all going crazy. You probably saw videos of all the Liverpool content creators. Shout out Kaz for that. And my prediction for us, I had us fifth, but when that bid went in for Caicedo, I had us challenging again because he fills so many gaps in our team. What Hendo was excellent at doing in our pomp, he would have been covering Trent, and he's a better footballer than Henderson. I thought Trent and Robin, now we're going to see the Trent and Robin of old. I thought, yeah, we're on our way here. We're going to have a really good season. But something told me, I know there's a deadline or whatever, but Brighton want as much money as they can. If Chelsea come in tomorrow, this isn't fully done yet. You know, when you're kind of on your high horse and you get brought back down to reality, like, you know what? Let's just wait till this is confirmed. Then you start seeing a lot of the Chelsea journalists that are quite credible. Chelsea looking to come back in around 11 a.m. on Friday. It gets confirmed that he's decided to pick them over us. I was like, I had a feeling this would happen, but you know when you actually see it.
Yeah. Out of sight, out of mind. But hang on.
Yeah.
So Roms, tell me. Okay, so we know that all happened and he wanted to go. Surely, then in the back of your mind, you're thinking, "It's cool. We'll get Lavia."
Savva. No, see, I was one of the very few that wasn't, because let's be honest, from a dignity standpoint, from a pride standpoint, you're going to feel disrespected as a player. And
as a man.
Exactly. As a man. You're going to feel 1 minute, I thought I was your priority for the past month or two. Then you've literally seen, I don't want to even make mad analogies, but you've seen a better looking woman than before. Let me go for that. I completely forgot about what we should have, because we had him in the bank. Personal terms were agreed. Everything was agreed. We literally just needed to agree on the fee, right? And I said to our fans, do not be surprised if Lavia picks Chelsea now. They can offer him more money. We know they offer longer contracts, but that's not even the main reason why I thought that. It's just from a dignity standpoint. I said, you know what? I think he's actually going to choose them. I was getting told, no, he won't. We've done the groundwork. I said, listen, there's no real loyalty in football, and we've now disrespected him. He thought he was number one, and
you threw all the groundwork away.
Exactly. In that one bid, we undid all of our work. He's seen it as disrespectful. He's like, you know what? I don't really go there. The only way I saw this possible for him coming to Liverpool is maybe game time. But right now, as it stands, he goes into that Chelsea team because of the injury to Nkunku. When Nkunku comes back, we'll have to see how Poch makes that work. Because you know what? Nkunku's very versatile. He can play on the right or left and then maybe put Lavia in the middle with Enzo and Caicedo. And that is crazy. Yeah. That is crazy. But for us, it's a Euro year also as well. So he probably has that as an incentive. I want to start week in, week out. For us, he comes and starts straight away. But he's probably looking at it like, this club don't appreciate me. They've disrespected me. Chelsea's in London. Let's be honest, geographically, it's a better place to live. All these things come into account. And I said to our fans, do not be surprised if Chelsea nick Lavia and Caicedo off us, because at 1 minute, you try to take the mick with our main target. Let's actually go and get yours that we don't necessarily even need. And this has been probably the most embarrassing days as a Liverpool fan for me. I've seen 7-2s to Villa. I've seen a 6-1 to Stoke City. But this is one of my lowest moments. It's very embarrassing. And now anyone we go for is an automatic downgrade from those two players, in my opinion. The one I would go and get is a Paulina, but he's injured at the moment. And I'll be willing to spend that. And now we've shown our hand, we're going to get extorted for pretty much anyone.
They know you've got money.
Yeah, because they know we have money. It's not nice. It's not nice at the moment.
I'll tell you what, Dave. These first world problems, where clubs can only bid £110 million for players and get rejected. I don't think Spurs have ever paid more than £55 million for anybody. But Dave, it's gone. The market is just getting absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Like, it used to be that 100, 110, 115, 120 was getting you the elite. I'm not saying that Caicedo is not a good player, but I mean, 115, 120 million for these players, Dave. What is happening to football?
Well, you know what? The context for me is a couple of weeks ago today, we lost Trevor Francis, who was like the first £1 million player.
Yeah.
You know, and if you think about it, Nottingham Forest opened the floodgates to this, you know, at times nonsensical building up of figures and amounts. I mean, where does it end? Are we, in my lifetime, will I see a £1 billion player? You know, ridiculous thoughts like that. And to be honest with you, you know, Moises Caicedo is an excellent player. You know, Lavia is an excellent player, but they're not that great to demand this amount of money. And where I kind of have a little bit of social conscience about it, there are people who can't put food on the table, can't pay their electricity bills. And okay, a lot of it's owners' money and all that, but the market just goes berserk. And I mean, like Ron says, to have like both of your plan A and your plan B swiped off the shelves of the supermarket before you can get your trolley there. It really, I mean, I watched the game yesterday, And actually, can I just say, I was really glad to see a ball moving about a football field on some green grass via feet and heads and chests instead of all this nonsensical business transfer talk we've had to listen to. But I looked at both of them, and a guy referred to it today quite cleverly as the Moises Caicedo derby, the Chelsea-Liverpool game, because you looked at both of them. You looked at both of them and you thought Caicedo would certainly help whichever one of the two he went to. I mean, on the football itself, I thought there was lots to like about Chelsea. I thought James and Chilwell were excellent. I thought Conor Gallagher had a really good game, and Enzo looked like he was on it. And Nicholas Jackson was a big surprise to me because I'd never seen him before. So, and there was good things from Liverpool as well.
Well, Dave, let me tell you this, Dave. So between Moises Caicedo and Lavia, right, the fees are £165 plus whatever the add-ons on for Lavia. You're probably looking at another 10 million. We're looking at 175 million quid. Have a guess how many games between them they have played in the Premier League.
40.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's taking the word, that my young scamp friend over there is just taking the words out of my mouth. 35, 40, Sav, between the two of them.
50?
Roms, what are we going with?
I'm going to go about 45 to 50 between the pair.
So, Lavia has played 29 times in the Premier League.
Okay, so it's not 40.
And in his career, by the way. That's career men's football, right? 29 games. And Moises Caicedo's played 45 games. So between them,
74.
they're not even at 75 games. And between them, they've gone for 175 million.
All about potential. That's the market, Savva. That's the market.
I was just about to say that because even recent big transfers, Enzo's not worth 100 million north. Declan Rice isn't worth that. But in the modern market, and it's key. It depends on your age. I would say if you're about below 24, 23, and the club
and you've got a heartbeat and two legs.
Yeah, you've got a heartbeat and two legs. You can get around. You're paying. You're spot on, Steve. You're spot on, Steve. You're paying for potential. That is I'm not even surprised anymore. It's crazy. We should be. But it's become the norm. It's become the norm.
And on this subject of potential, Brighton bought Moises Caicedo for 4 million
from Independiente del Valle.
So if you see, and I guess, I'm not sure about Lavia's trajectory. Did he come from Manchester City to Southampton?
Yeah. Academy.
So again, so like you say, you're almost paying money on a preemption of something, a vision of how you see it going.
On a very small sample size.
On a very small sample size, absolutely.
I mean, to be fair to both of them. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go on, man. Go. You're right.
I was just going to say real quick, I mean, to be fair to the both of them, the small sample size that we've seen of them, and I've seen at Caicedo with Independiente del Valle going on 2 years ago only, they do really impress pretty much each and every time. So I understand why the fee. Ultimately, at the end of the day, credit to the club selling them because they are marketing their asset at this point to a T. Credit to them, man. Credit to them.
Can I just say, I saw both of these guys in April at the City Ground, and frankly, neither of them, in a 4-3 defeat for Southampton and a 3-1 defeat for Brighton, neither of them looked remotely near what is being paid today for them.
Well, it's mad, isn't it? Listen, I agree. I mean, you think back in the day when Spurs sold Gareth Bale to Real Madrid, and it was like 89. Please don't quote me. 88, 89 million pounds, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is like the second biggest fee ever," and all this kind of stuff. And this was a guy that had been pulling up trees for years and years and years, like ripping up. Like, do you remember? Like he ended Maicon's career, and he just
Inter in the Champions League.
Right? He was ripping people up. Don't get me wrong. I like Moises Caicedo from what I've seen, but this is mental. And Brighton straight away today have gone out and bought another young midfielder who we talked about earlier, Steve, from Lille, and I've never heard of him. But I bet you anything you like. I'll put my mortgage on it. As long as the missus doesn't hear me say that. Right. I'll put my mortgage on it. I bet you he's good. and I bet you in 2 years' time they sell him for about 80, 90 million.
Tab, you know another player. Sorry, go on, Dave.
I was just going to say, lads, any young Brighton player you've never heard of, that's a good CV to have. I saw Buonanotte and Ciso Agindra at the weekend.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. They're probably going to send it. They're probably going to sell him for north of 50 million, adding probably even more. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
No, listen, you're absolutely right. I tell you what, I said on a Spurs show this morning, I said, listen, don't worry about whoever you think we're scouting. Just go in and bid for this bloke Brighton are bidding for. Just go in and get him. He's going to be good. But look, Brighton, it's funny. So I got sent this, and so bear with me 1 second. I got sent this, and it was show you. I'm sure some of you have seen this. It's the pictures of all the players. I'll read it out, but there's a picture of 24 players that Todd Bowley has signed. So he's literally bought a squad.
Almost as many as us last year, Sal.
Almost as many as Nottingham Forest, Dave. A few bigger fees than what you might have paid out for, but it's mental, isn't it? They've sold 24, and in that time, I think they've sold. They bought 24, and in that time, they sold 16 players. Like that's a swing of 40 players. Like this is absolutely mental. They've literally rebuilt an entire football club in 12 months. Most clubs. Listen, I'm not knocking it, but look, the key thing for me here is a lot of people, I've seen it in the chat saying, oh my God, how are they getting away with this with FFP? But have any of you seen the Simon Jordan video from this morning?
Or Kieran Maguire on Twitter, or Swiss Ramble, or the financial people on Twitter that anyone can go look up and actually educate yourself on it. Yeah. For me, bro, people are just bitching and moaning for the sake of it. For me, it's like, again,
I'm jealous. I don't mind admitting it. I am jealous.
Of course. And if it were happening at any of our, well, it's happening in mine. If it were happening at any of our clubs, we'd all take it in a heartbeat. And
listen, Spurs took 6.5 weeks to sign Van de Ven from Wolfsburg. Do you know what I mean? Which was, I think it worked out to 37 million pounds sterling plus add-ons. And then you got Chelsea going, let's just get 2 in one day. Oh, by the way, we also spent 102 million on Fernandes in January. Oh, and whatever Mudryk was, and it's crazy.
Sav, it may not stop there. I think Elise and Diogo Costa, is it Diogo Costa from Porto, the keeper?
Oh, the goalkeeper,
They're both quoting, I think, minimum 50 minutes, so they can even spend another 100.
But to be fair, look at who's going to leave. Chalobah's rumored to leave. Conor Gallagher possibly go to West Ham. Kepa left on loan to Real Madrid. You've got Cucurella might come to Newcastle on loan. Yeah. There's 4 guys right there. Lukaku as well might join.
Well, the thing is, Steve, when you look at it, right? Well, I just ignored him. The thing is, when I was watching Simon Jordan talk about the FFP this morning, it is actually it's dangerous what Chelsea are doing for them.
It's a risk.
But it's clever, right? And what he was saying was, you have to remember that every time they sell one of their academy graduates, pure profit. So Mason Mount has gone, and Loftus-Cheek have gone this window for a combined £100 million of pure profit from the academy. Pure profit. Havertz, they sold for the same price they bought him for, or 5 million more, whatever it was. However, because he'd been there a few years, he had depreciated to being worth 25 million as an asset, right? So they actually made more money than they bought. I know they does that make sense? So I know they paid the same what they sold him for, what they paid him for, but because he'd been there a few years, you depreciate. Yeah. You think over the years, Tomori, Guehi, Tammy Abraham, Tariq Lamptey, Mason Mount,
Livramento to Southampton as well.
Livramento. Callum Hudson-Odoi has just left, hasn't he, to go to...
Yes.
Fulham. To Fulham.
Yeah.
They're making profit.
Crazy. It's crazy.
It's madness. And no one else... I don't know if they're geniuses. Are they geniuses or are they risk takers? Why, Steve, let me ask you them. Why is everyone so upset with Chelsea? Why is everyone really peed off that Chelsea are spending money for fun?
I don't know, because apparently those same people will say that they're run by a dumb American who doesn't know what he's doing, and they're just buying a bunch of youngsters, and Poch doesn't win anything unless it's in France. So it's like these narratives collide with each other, and it makes no sense. I know why. It's jealousy. It's envy. It's because their owners have the cash. They don't choose to spend it because they see they prioritize, like FSG do. John Henry said it himself. He prioritizes the financial side of things over sporting success.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. Same with Levy. Same with the Glazers. So
it doesn't bother me because I know where my club is in relation to that club and where we are in the food chain. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a world I can't even get involved in. That's like, that's like Chelsea are shopping in Waitrose and Forest are having to walk up and down the middle of Lidl. Do you know what I mean? That's what we do.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the lads we've brought in, but we are, and I think the beauty of clubs like ours, if you like, is knowing where you are and not, it's when,
Well, Dave, the funny thing, just really quickly, the funny thing is at the same time, old Mourinho over at Roma has just signed 2 midfielders today, both from PSG. One on loan with a 1 million loan fee, which is Renato Sanchez. And they've just bought Paredes for 4 million euros. Yeah. Like 5 million. And then you've got Chelsea busting out 165 million over
And
here.
guess who's won a European trophy more recently, as much as I hate to give Roma credit for anything.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy what's happening. Go on.
Do you know what, Steve? It will happen. It's going to happen with Newcastle as well, because I respect what you're doing. You're gradually building. I think everyone would expect you to sign the big world-class marquee player because you've got the money to do it. I know with FFP regulations, you can't do it like a City did 10 to 15 years ago, where you go out and sign all of them at once. But once you start adding, because I rate Tonali highly, but once you start adding that, I can't, a world-class player and just paying out money for them, that's when the envy will come. I think people, they don't really mind Newcastle. They're happy with Newcastle now because you're not going for that caliber of player yet. But once you do, you're going to get as much hate as Chelsea get. And ultimately, it is down to jealousy. Like Dave said, and you know where your club's at, it's not really going to bother you. But if you're kind of in the top 6, top 7, where you want to be competing for the Champions League, the Premier League, it will bother because, hold on, my rival is doing well and he's spending. And ultimately, the more you spend, the better you will get. It's as simple as that.
Rums, do you know what, mate? You take me back a year when, like,
the Forest.
It seemed like, who the hell are little Nottingham Forest spending all this money? But I don't think it was envy. It was almost like a punk band getting in the top of the charts when it was all like and how dare this little go? But
know your place. Who are you? Yes, know your place.
Exactly.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, Dave? It was like when Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman goes into the clothes shop in Beverly Hills, and they say, "You won't be able to afford anything in here." So, sorry, exit Tottenham Hotspur out the front door. Listen, let's move on from Chelsea. By the way, only a third of you, just under a third, have smashed the like button. Please smash the like button, people. And we are 333 subscribers away from 10K.
What? You were at 600 this morning. Huh? You were at 9,600 this morning, like 7 hours ago. That's crazy. So you got like 100 in the past.
So I've got exactly 66 in the last 6 hours. But listen, let's get to 10K. Jeff, calm down, mate. No one's hyping up the Plastic Club Chelsea. Please, we're just 4 football people talking about football. I'm not sure if you can handle it.
I want to get in to dig it. I want to dig in at Sunderland real quick. Chelsea have as many European Cups as Sunderland have games played in European qualifying matches.
I forgot the
down with this shit. Sit down.
Okay, so smash that subscribe button, people. Listen, talking about crazy money, right? Neymar has just signed for Al Hilal and is going to be paid £126 million a year, which is, did I see it right? 4 or 5 times his salary, four times his salary at PSG.
Yeah.
This is going bananas, isn't it? You've got players to the caliber of Neymar going, I'll just go out to Qatar, to Saudi Arabia. Roms, what do you make of it, man? This is just, the world's gone mental.
Do you know why this didn't necessarily surprise me? Did any of you watch his documentary on Netflix?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you remember when he said after 30, this is probably going to be before the World Cup, this is probably my last World Cup. I'm kind of he was basically saying without saying it, I was kind of losing love for the game. Now, I knew once he left PSG, he's going to have that big contract. But at the time of that documentary, Saudi hadn't really emerged. There was murmurs, but they hadn't really emerged as this big kind of Super League, right? And the minute I saw the link to Al Hilal, I was thinking, he's off here. Xavi, I was thinking Barca or Saudi, because Barca, I think, was his only option. But Xavi said he didn't want him. Look, fantastic player, but he doesn't suit what I want to do. So I thought, you know what?
He's a maverick, isn't he? Let's be really, really honest. Neymar's a maverick now. And Xavi is trying to implement the exact same philosophy that Pep did, that Cruyff did, win the ball back, press, work hard. But Roms, 126, I think it was 126 million, 150 million, whatever it is mental. He's a footballer. Like,
do you know what?
That's like Mahomes.
Huh?
Patrick Mahomes and some of the guys in the NFL are on.
NFL, yeah.
No, the NBA is even more crazy. NBA is even.
But my view of the Saudi league is it's a bit like a seniors golf tour. I mean, and the way I look at it at the moment, I mean, Bryson DeChambeau shot a 58 last week on the Live Tour. Nobody saw it. And like, how much are we going to see? How much are we going to see in this Saudi Arabian league? I mean, I do understand why these lads are going to do it, because football is such a short career. They've got families and they've got responsibilities.
One injury and you could be done.
But I think the thing is, Dave. The thing is, Dave. Right. The thing is, I remember when we had this talk at the beginning of the summer when it started happening, Dave. And at that point, I don't know if you remember, the players that were going out there were the players at 33, 34. And you thought, I get it, right? You've done all you need. Now we're starting to see, like, Ruben Neves went out there at what, 20?
Yeah, he was the first.
26.
I think
the one,
Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, 28.
The one that
others in the world.
The one that shocked me the most is the talented, I think he's Portuguese at Celtic, Jota. I think he's only, 26, 25, 26?
Yeah, it's
that's for me when it went, oh my God, this is getting a bit.
Roms, that said, though, I got the impression, and I've watched Celtic the last couple of weeks, that I actually thought we can do without this guy and still be decent. You know what I mean? So maybe he wasn't all that. But I get your point. To me, Ruben Neves was the watershed signing. You kind of thought, I agree. It's not a you have to be 30 and above to get into this club. So Ruben Neves, he was prime mover at Wolves. Everything was around him. The only reason a lot of people are saying Wolves are going to struggle and maybe starting tonight is because Ruben Neves went. So I agree with you, mate. And I do think that
crazy. He, bar probably Man City, he gets into every one of the top 7 clubs. Maybe not Newcastle at the moment, but majority of the Premier League clubs he gets into. So that one was alarming for me.
It's like Barcelona wanted him.
I'm looking at it now, right? So I've just done a search who signed for Saudi Arabian clubs, and you got Sadio Mane, who's 31, right? It's not old, is it? You've got Alan St. Maximum, who's 26. You've got Riyad Mahrez, who's 32. But with someone like Mahrez, you say, been there, seen it, done it, blah, 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 blah. You've got Cristiano Ronaldo at the end of his career. Jordan Henderson's at the end of his career. I get it. Ronaldo's 38. Benzema's nearly 36. Firmino, 31. Edouard Mendy, N'Golo Kante, these guys are 31 and 32. Ruben Neves at 26. It just feels like, listen, I'm not knocking the league, right? I'm not. But I am at the same time. Surely they're not going out there and getting any competitive football, are they? You've got, each club's got about 3 top players from Europe. What's the rest of the standard going to be like?
It's like the 100 in cricket. They've got 2 or 3 internationals and then they fill the rest of the team. I mean, Interestingly, James Milner stayed, bless him.
James
I've got the
Milner,
utmost
yeah.
respect for Millie. I've got the utmost, and he did get offer. I can't remember what Saudi club it was, but he got an offer. Maybe not as lucrative as the rest, but he did also get an offer. So,
but Roms, what about Jose Mourinho? Turned down 2 massive offers, didn't he, to stay in Europe? He turned
Mancini
down.
might be coaching the Saudi Arabian national team as well because he stepped down as Italy manager. I heard that as well.
It comes down to what motivates you. Because even I don't know you lot's opinion on PSG, but I always say once a prime player goes to PSG, I can't say lose respect.
No,
but
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Do you know what I mean? Because PSG
Agreed.
is kind of like you're guaranteed to win the league every year.
Nah.
You're not realistically going to win the. I know you're going to say, obviously, in recent years, I think Lille and Monaco, in the last 6 years, I think both of them have won it. But come on, Steve, pretty much you're guaranteed to win the league.
Lons were 1 point behind them last year.
But did they win it?
One.
Free Samba.
They didn't win it.
I know what you mean. Like, obviously, the odd year, you're going to get that team that competes with them. And now with Messi, Neymar, and
Mbappe will probably stay.
I think it will now the gap will get closer. But I do respect what I think Galtier is still there. What he's trying to do is trying to
Luis Enrique.
Get rid of Luis Enrique, trying to get rid of the egos. But I've always said when Neymar went to PSG, for me, I was a bit disappointed. I was like, you're better than that.
Roms.
Do you know what I mean?
Roms. I keep having this debate with Saeed TV. I keep having this debate with Saeed. We had it. I'm on his show every Monday at 12. And it started a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Mbappe. So I'm just going to get a bit of light in here because it was raining and now it's beautiful. Mbappe for me, when he's talking about does he deserve Ballon d'Ors, my answer has always been the same. You should not be winning a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, spot on.
Right? You should not be winning a Ballon d'Or while playing in the French league unless you do drive your country to the World Cup. Right? But this is the thing that's killed me. Him and Neymar are the same for me. Like, okay, hang on. I'm going to vent a little bit here. I'm really passionate about this. Messi and Ronaldo. If we're going to put Messi and Ronaldo as the elite from the last 2 decades, right? I don't think anyone would argue with that, right? They're the best 2 players of the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Ronaldo was smashing it up at the age of 17 in Portugal and got his move to the Premier League. Lionel Messi was doing it from the age of 16 in La Liga, playing with Ronaldinho and playing for Pep and blah, 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 blah. And not only did they do that, they then smashed it up for nearly 2 whole decades in the 2 best leagues. Well, Ronaldo did both leagues, but for 20 years. Neymar, for me, really annoyed me. He was at Barcelona.
Same.
They won the treble, and you're thinking, he's like, oh, I want to be the heir to Messi's throne. So I'm going to go and create my own legacy at PSG, right? Then you've got Mbappe, who, cool, he's French. So when he's young, he signs for PSG. Cool. I've got no problem with that. Roms, here's where I lose respect, right? Last year, when his contract ran out, and Real Madrid have a bid on the table for free for him to go, I'm going to go to Real Madrid and I'm going to cement my legacy and I'm going to take Real Madrid to Champions League after Champions League after La Liga after La Liga. When he decided to stay at PSG, I just went, you're not serious.
Because you know what
not
it's
serious. Sorry, it's true.
When I speak about the French league, and big up Steve, because I know you're a Strasbourg fan as well, right? I'm not disrespecting
and
the
a
league.
Chelsea fan.
I'm not disrespecting the league in terms of talent. Because you do know, League R have, if not some of the best talent. A lot of their talent end up in the Premier League anyway. But the league as a whole, as a competitive league, it is pretty much PSG. I don't think it will be from this season onwards. I think it's going to be quite a level playing field because of the personnel that are leaving. But let's say last 10 years, I think you could correct me, Steve. I think there's only been 2 different winners other than PSG.
3.
So
Montpellier in 2011-12 with Olivier Giroud.
No, I'm saying in last 10 years. In last 10 years. That was just. I think
is Steve trying to creep 2010, 2011 into
yeah, that's what you're trying to do. I said last 10. Yeah. I said last 10.
Last 10 years, so meaning 2013, 14.
Cherry picking dates.
Sav, what I mean by when you go to PSG, I kind of respect because especially it also depends on your level. If you're people speak about Neymar and Mbappe as generational. If you're that caliber and if people rate you in that way, you should be at the Barca's, the Real Madrid's, the pinnacles. God, I hate saying this, God forbid me saying this, but even the Uniteds, because as much as I despise them as my rival, they are seen as the pinnacle probably just after Barca and Madrid, in my opinion. So when you kind of go to PSG, for me, it's the payday. PSG are kind of doing what the Saudi clubs done, but it's just that the Saudi clubs have even more money because PSG are still they own. But people are going there just for the money. And when Neymar went there, I said, oh, you can do better than that. Even if you stay at Barca alongside Messi, you'll still have a more respectable legacy. And then when Mbappe signed that deal, I was exactly like you, Savva. I said, what are you doing? Let
me ask about all of you. Sorry, go on, Dave.
Sorry, Sav, and sorry, Ron, Steve. About PSG, they've always struck me as being like, you know, a conveyor belt of money, and their desperation to find a mythology and a soul that, like, you know, Real Madrid,
they have. I disagree with you about the soul, but carry on.
They've got no soul at all. They are not a Manchester. They have no mythology like Manchester United. They have no mythology like Real Madrid. They have no mythology like Nottingham Forest. We've won 2 Champions Leagues.
I knew you were going to get Nottingham Forest in there, Dave.
But I just look at Paris Saint-Germain should have already had this long before, as, you know, it's the biggest city with only one club in the world, I believe. So Paris Saint-Germain, to me, I look at that and I just think, Paris Saint-Germain. Yeah, tell me about Paris Saint-Germain going back over the decades.
Ginola,
there's nothing.
Ronaldinho, Beckham.
With all due respect, Ginola only became known when he went to Tottenham and Newcastle and Everton.
What?
Dave, I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, but to me, it just seems to me, and I'm like,
was that apply to George Weah?
I've seen a hell of a lot of football.
There is the great man.
Yeah.
Does the same apply to George Weah at PSG in the 90s?
George Weah first came to mind. I never noticed George Weah at PSG. I noticed him at Milan.
Can't lie, this was a bit before my time. When I hear of George Weah, I associate him with AC Milan, not really PSG.
Yeah. So I know I'm being controversial, but to me, when I was a kid growing up, when I'm a lot older than you lot,
always.
there was no notice of Paris Saint-Germain. It's a recent thing, so they've got no mythology to me. I do, they've been chasing the Champions League, and they all get so far, and you kind of think they're a nearly club, and they're not going to get there.
I think the problem with them is, and I want to go back to the Neymar bit in a minute, but I think the problem is, and it's just been announced that he is now a Chelsea player, Moises Caicedo. That's all done. 115 million package deal plus a sell-on clause, just ridiculous. Well done, Brighton. Well done, Brighton.
And Independiente
Del Valle. They're getting 30 mil out of that. 30 mil.
When you
Tony
look
Bloom
at PSG,
can buy some more racehorses now.
I think the key thing for me, Dave, is with PSG, you can have all the money in the world, but what they literally did was there was no plan. It was just buy the biggest names and hope that we win a Champions League. Absolutely. So every year, I've argued this, Dave, with people for years. Every year when people go, oh, PSG have got to be a favourite with Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, I said, no. I don't think it's a team. It's not a team. You can put Galacticos in there, but what you need is unsung heroes. Liverpool had your Jordan Hendersons in midfield.
Your Milners,
people will turn around and go,
Terry McDermott.
Right.
Great.
You need these players. You can't just keep going and getting Donnarumma, Ramos, Wijnaldum. Like, it's like, hang on. At what point do you get the legs in and around them? At what point do you buy players that fit a puzzle? And to be fair to them, I think that is what they're doing now. I feel like they're doing that differently. The last point on Neymar that I would say, guys, is this. What part of him thought that he'd have a better legacy not playing with Lionel Messi at Barcelona? Like,
I think maybe what it is that, so in France, the big thing is Olympique de Marseille are the only French club to win the UEFA Champions League. Les premiers, what is it? The fucking saying? À jamais les premiers, the first and the whatever, right? So that's the big deal about it. That it's like it's something there where it is a big footballing nation, France. We all agree it is a big footballing nation. And so to lay claim in that, to win a UEFA Champions League, to establish dominance domestically and in Europe with Paris Saint-Germain, that is attractive. I can see it. I can see why that is attractive, because you are making history in France in terms of.
But let me ask: is it respect? Like, here's my question, right? If I am one of the best players in the world, right?
Right.
Let's just pretend I am. I think Savva would look good on the back of a football shirt, right? If I'm lining up every game with Messi, I mean, I could stop at Messi, but if I'm lining up every game with Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Xavi, was he still there? Xavi, Busquets, Iniesta, PK, Alba. Why am I saying I've got to leave here? Like, it's that.
You know what, Savva? For me, it's two things. It's mainly money, and it's also he probably wanted to be seen as the main guy. He probably thought, you know what, I'm not gonna get the Ballon d'Or being alongside a player that's better than me. But for me, do you know what the irony is? 5-6 years later, he's a catalyst in Messi joining him at PSG.
Yeah.
It's madness.
The player that's better than you has now joined you, and it's gonna naturally overshadow, because the minute Messi went there, didn't Messi on the back shirt sell out in like an hour of being on your website? He suddenly became the biggest star. You were kind of just left in the background.
Know your lane.
Sorry,
Yeah.
In terms of the footballing achievement in his career, it strikes me that Paris Saint-Germain for Lionel Messi is probably the most fallow period. It's probably the most anonymous section of his career moving forward. So
it was like Maradona at Sevilla or something.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Funny you should say that. Funny you should say that, because this is the funny thing. It better be funny now, because I've said funny about 4 times. You think during all of his club career playing for Barcelona, when he's winning Ballon d'Ors for fun, Champions Leagues, nothing was happening when he was at his peak internationally. He goes to PSG, right? And everyone says he's gone. He's finished. And he rocks up and wins the Copa America and the World Cup in the space of a year.
Yeah.
And
it's a great point, mate.
If ever anybody wants to say about Lionel Messi finished and this and that, how do you rock up at a World Cup at the age of 35 and just turn in performance after performance like that? And that is what we never saw at a World Cup from, I'm going to say it, from Ronaldo. You never saw it from Neymar. We've seen it from Mbappe. We've seen it from Mbappe. We have.
Yeah,
but
we have.
For me, to round all this off, for me, Mbappe, all of this, he's being held hostage by PSG. He's being held hostage by his own greed. Yeah. He had the chance.
Yeah, himself.
I almost want him to sit in the reserve league and play against 16-year-old fullbacks in the French second division or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's frustrating. Yeah.
Because inevitably he will end up at Real Madrid, but it's like you could have already been there 2 years ago prior. You probably would have had a Champions League under your belt.
Right.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Do you think with both of them, like, you're going to have, if he goes there, you're going to have Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. Do you think we're going to see Mbappe through the middle? Like that's a real scary reality, right?
Yeah. Because
actually, you know what? I think Mbappe might stay at PSG because they recruited a center forward in Gonzalo Ramos. They've got Lee Kang-in, who they're going to try to play.
Yeah, but he'll go next year, right? He's not going to sign a new contract. I think he
might. I think he might.
So?
Another contract?
Yes, I think he might. There's always a twist in this. I genuinely, I'm telling you right now, I think there might be something because they are getting rid of Neymar. Marco Verratti as well is someone he apparently doesn't really get on with. If they buy into Luis Enrique, if he buys into the project and whatever, if Nasser Al-Khelaifi can sell it to him, I think there is a chance. I would probably lean 49 to 51.
I'm going to call it now. If he signs that contract, he is the biggest sellout in football history. You can't be as good as Mbappe and not go and play for one of the big... Name me world-class players that didn't go and play at one of the big clubs. like truly world-class players. Not
okay, Letitia. I didn't watch him, but
no. I'm talking
never.
about.
No.
Listen, Letitia was quality, but I'm talking about your
Generational
Figos, your
world
Mbappe's,
renowned.
yeah.
Batistuta at Fiorentina. Yes, no.
Yeah, I suppose you could say Batistuta, but at the time,
Fiorentina were decent, but they
Hang
weren't
on.
winning Serie A.
No.
You could ask Sav. I know the caliber you're speaking about, but some people may argue Shearer.
Yeah,
Even the Newcastle were very good at the time.
Oh,
Maybe you should have went to that United. That's probably one. But
That's
other than that, you're scratching your head.
That's a good shout, Rom. Yeah, him not.
until the other day.
And do you know what? He still can't win a trophy.
No.
Leipzig were phenomenal. Danny Olmo. I shout this guy all the time.
But I'm talking
Give me
like
crap.
when I'm talking Ballon d'Or winners. Most of them, you're gonna get anomalies. Like I know Michael Owen won the Ballon, but Michael Owen did go and play for Real Madrid, didn't he? Yeah,
And did well.
Steven Gerrard.
he did.
Steven Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard, true, but Steven Gerrard was winning Champions Leagues.
Win the Champions League.
Wait, I just went over my head. He was still at a big, do you know what I mean? He was still at a big club. And let's be honest, Real Madrid, Inter, Barca, even Fergie, they all inquired. They all still wanted him. So, but he was maybe not Prems, but like Sav said, he was still winning the odd domestic here and there every other year. It's not like he went for 5-6 years in a row without winning anything.
Totti in the comments at Roma. But they won a Scudetto in 2001.
I feel like it's not spoken about
But then
because
Lazio won the year after.
Because he got that world.
I did like the comment below about like Disneyland Paris only being like half an hour away.
Yeah.
Whichever gentleman put that in, that's really
That's
witty,
funny
mate.
as hell, yeah.
Absolutely.
Just quickly, we're going to go for 9 more minutes, just a quick hour. We're going to do this every Monday, a nice quick hour so that we squeeze a lot in, have some debates. Daniel Monsendon, big up to you, as always a massive supporter of the channel. Said a big up Savva and the wonderful panel. Caicedo isn't worth what Chelsea are paying for him, but he's a top young player. And when they go on to win multiple trophies with Caicedo and a team, I doubt they'll care. Same with Enzo. I agree. Yeah. I agree. They won't care. It's just mental. I don't think they'll care. And Daniel, I don't mind admitting it. I'm really jealous that Tottenham, like, we have to spend 6 weeks chasing down a 22-year-old from Wolfsburg. Chelsea are just going boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Big up to Daniel, always a massive supporter of the channel. Guys and girls, come on. We've managed to get to 9,669. That's 3 subscribers. Smash that subscribe button, people.
I got a name. I got Riquelme. He didn't work out at Barcelona, and then he went right back to Villarreal. Riquelme. Juan Roman Riquelme.
But he still made the move to Barcelona, right?
Right, he tried.
Yeah. Right.
There's
not many of them, man. And how old's Mbappe?
Jonathan Woodgate.
Jonathan Woodgate. I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for injuries, what a top centre half that man was.
Yeah, he was.
Agreed. You've got another one as well. Even Ledley King. I've always said if his knee, if he had a better knee, the heights he could have reached. Crazy.
Absolutely, mate.
At one point, we had King and Woodgate as our centre back pairing, but you just never know which one of them was going to be fit at the weekend. Do you know what I mean? It was, but top players. Really. But look, I think everyone gets my point. I mean, listen, I know people are saying like we can name top players, but I'm talking about.
I know what you mean, Sam. The world-renowned marketable,
Haji, Romanian.
Haji, Kaka, Romario, Ronaldo, Messi. You know, these boys, even at least Neymar, who I'm knocking, went and did it at Barcelona. For me, Mbappe's 24.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, 24. So he's going to be 25 by the time he gets to Madrid, which is fine. But
look what Jude's done.
Waste.
Jude has gone. Jude scored at the weekend. Jude's in there now. Is he 21, 22? You know, Jude hasn't mucked about at all. He's paid his dues with Blues. Then he's gone to Dortmund, and now he's there.
Do you know why you've got to respect Jude so much? Because the minute obviously he was destined to come us and whatnot. The minute Real Madrid come into you. That's it. It's very rare you turn down Real Madrid. This is why I've always said with Chelsea and Man City to keep on to to hold on to their world class players. in a time like the Agueros, the Hazards for 5+ years. That's very rare because normally, especially when you're South American, when they come into you, normally you're off. But Chelsea and City over the last 10, 15 years, they were able to keep their world-class players away from Real Madrid and Barca, even if it was for a sustained amount of time. They didn't just go. But for Jude, the minute Real Madrid's in for him, I was like, come on, if Real Madrid and Liverpool coming for you, as much as I love my club dearly, there's only one winner here. The fact he's gone there at his age, he can go there for 6 years, couple Champions Leagues, about 4 league titles, then come back to the Premier League still in his prime. Still in his. If he come, let's say, I think his contract was 6 years, 7 years. I think his contract is. He comes back. I think he's 19. He'll come back at 26, 27 and still be in his prime. He can play Premier League football for about 5 years. He's so smart. That lad is so smart.
As I said,
Roms, maybe it's because he's getting good advice from his family. It seems to me. Maybe, you know, I mean, Jude's dad is a copper in Birmingham, and they seem his brother's just gone to Sunderland. They just seem like a really sound, down-to-earth family where the parents are looking after their lads and giving them good advice. I'm not sure certain other players, without naming names, are getting that.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Look, again, I think the shame of it for me is I'm not knocking Mbappe. It's when you see a player that good and you think, come on, create a legacy. And people will say, oh, the World Cup. That's great, but he won the World Cup 5 years ago now. Like, what's your legacy since that? Your legacy since that is winning the French league. It's just...
Have you noticed also when we call stuff like this out, people aren't looking at the bigger picture. We're saying this because we care. We want the best for the player. We appreciate their ability, and we understand that they should be winning more at bigger clubs and the higher honours for their ability, not staying. Basically, you're plateauing. You're kind of just stagnating, and you don't want the better for yourself. So when people call out that you're hating or whatnot, it's like, no, I actually want the best for the player.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I love the league to bits. It's my favorite league to watch, so I don't mind. I enjoy him week in, week out, and with Neymar, he was terrific to watch. The stuff he would do. Honestly,
that's fine. I get that, but you know what? The
overall footballing world. I'm the exception to the rule. I get it.
No, it's not that you're the exception to the rule. The kind of footballing world, as you call it, the perception, whether it's right or wrong, perception is huge in the world with everything. And the perception will always be, like, for example, when I look at the numbers Mbappe puts up, these are good numbers, but I look at it and go, for me, his numbers should be 10 times, not 10, that's a massive leap. Those numbers should be double what they are in the French league for me.
Really?
Those numbers,
Really?
Okay, hang on. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look. What is it? And I've got 2 minutes.
Neymar, I could get on board with that.
Hang on. Mbappe, right? Kylian Mbappe. So 29 goals in the French league. Cool. But people are talking about you as one of the best players in the world. Lionel Messi at the age of 24 was scoring 90 goals in a calendar year in La Liga, which was the best league in the world at the time. There's levels. There's levels to this, right? So,
but I never compare him to him. I never care. Obviously, Messi is the far better player than Mbappe. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
Look, guys,
JJ,
I do need to JJ Kocha. So good they named him twice. Guys, I do need to leave it there. But what I will say is loves music, big up, massive support of the channel as always. Said there's levels and there's elite levels and there's a big difference. Absolutely, my man. There really, really is. But listen, I do need to jump on. I'm going on to Holly's Hotspurs tonight. Yes. So I need to be there in 60 seconds. Roms, thanks, man. Really enjoyed it. And for your sake, I hope that Liverpool pulls something out the bag in the next week without Chelsea usurping you.
Because imagine we go for another pair. Oh, now Chelsea interested. Everything will just be zapped from us. But yeah.
But yes, by the way, yes.
He was very good last year in a shit team. That's what I will say.
Dave, thank you. Been too long, mate. Hopefully we'll do something again next week.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Thank you for having me on. Lovely to see you lads as well. It's been good chatting. The hour's flown by.
Yeah,
I'm ready for some neutrality as United take on Wolves now. So yeah, looking forward to it.
And
great
Steve,
to see you boys.
Big up. Big up to you, Steve. Always loved Steve's vast array of world football knowledge. Everybody, big up. Thank you for all the likes. Please smash the like button on your way out. And please keep subscribing. We're now only 327 away from 10K. Everybody, peace out. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Away the lads.